La for, hit ya for none. All the time. La for, hit ya for none. Hit ya for none. For Islam stand for peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Beloved viewers of MTA, my name is Shoyoye Idris, and you are on to Inspirational Africans. On this show, we bring to you individuals who have excelled in their various career paths. And today, let us meet our guest.
Our guest today is Mr. Ibrahim Audu-Alqali, the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Exponential Global Travels Limited, an Ahmadi Muslim born over 5 decades ago in Akpata, Ibadan, Oyo State. Mr. Ibrahim is an indigene of Kogi State, Nigeria. He had his primary school education in Akpata, Ibadan, and proceeded for the secondary school education at Ahmadiyya Secondary School, Kano, between 1979 to 1984. He attended the Kwara State Polytechnic, where he read diploma in law and the higher national diploma in public administration. He later went on to bag a postgraduate diploma in policy and planning. Mr. Ibrahim is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management and the Institute of Sales and Marketing Management of the United Kingdom. An accomplished businessman who has carved his enviable niche in the aviation industry as a travel agent. Mr. Ibrahim's success story in his chosen career path has placed him on the pedestal of Inspirational Africans.
You're welcome back. Mr. Ibrahim Audu-Alqali, you're highly welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, based on the synopsis you've given us as far as your educational background is concerned, and considering the job you do, what prompts choosing this career path?
Honestly, it's the grace of Allah. When I was in school, I don't even know anything about the aviation industry. As a student, we were like, we want to be a banker, and it's either I'm a banker or I go into the stockbroking business. That was what I was thinking about. But after leaving school, I discovered that it's not as rosy as you think out there. I job hunted for over 3 years. And there was a day, while I was job hunting, I was on the island. I met a friend that we went to school together. And he was like, have you started working? In Yoruba, I was like, me mati nishe, which means I haven't gotten a job. He was like, how can? You were the best student. You used to teach us then in school. I said that was not the way of Allah. He now said I should go and offer a prayer. He assured me. Before then, for close to a year, nobody ever invited me for an interview. By the 7th day, which happened to be a Friday, the last day, as I was just coming out of prayer, somebody just came and said, there's going to be an interview somewhere tomorrow, Saturday. Can you prepare yourself and go? I went there. 24 people were interviewed. Almost all of them were experienced in the travel industry. When it was my turn to be interviewed, the MD fortunately was there. I later got to know that after I was interviewed, other members of the panelists were like, no, he doesn't have an experience. Then it was like, if you tell this one what to do, he will get it right. That was how I was employed, and I found myself in the travel industry. And the very month I entered the industry, mind you, I never lost touch with the Khilafat. I was sending letters and the Khalifa kept praying for me. Then it was easy. Letters were coming in like twice in a month from the Khalifa. I was bombarding the Khalifa with my letters. And when I got the job, I later got to know that there were a lot of
So which of
Big prince.
which of the Khalifa then?
Oh, it was the fourth Caliph.
The fourth
Hazrat Mirza
Khalifa.
Tahir Ahmad. Actually, I'm lucky to have met the third, the fourth, and the fifth Khalifa. I met the fourth.
You're indeed lucky.
Oh, yes. I met the third Khalifa when I was in secondary school, came to Kano.
Yeah.
That was where I met him.
Oh.
Then I met the fourth Khalifa very well. I met the fifth Khalifa. The Huzur, the fifth Khalifa is wonderful. And I'm also lucky that I've been opportune to have about 5 mulaqats with the Huzur so far.
Interesting.
With the fifth Khalifa.
Wow, that is a great number.
Amazing.
So let's move further a bit. When we look at, talking about the career path and everything, then our audience would like to know that, okay, what are the factors that contributed to your growth and development in this career path?
Like I told you, it was not my dream. When I found myself there, I was just like, what is worth doing? It's worth doing well. For somebody to have given me a prayer that I was job hunting for 3 years, and the person was so certain, I was so sure that after this prayer, within 7 days, he will get a job. And I got the job. I told myself, what is worth doing is worth doing well. Face it squarely, learn it, know it very well. This is divine. And let me also add, which might be interesting to the children of nowadays, to the youths of nowadays. When I got the job with my postgraduate in 1999, I was offered 8,000 naira as salary. When my friends were already earning 45,000, 50,000 naira. I was then living somewhere in Lagos, around Ojuelegba. So I'll be spending close to 5,000 naira in a month for transportation. But something kept telling me, somebody said, offer this prayer, you will get a job. And you got it. So don't just, la takna to me rahmatillah, don't just have any doubt. Go ahead and do it. And I took it for 8,000 naira.
Interesting.
So I started the job. I learned very fast. I learned, and honestly, the people who were even supposed to be guiding me, within 6 months, I ended up even teaching them. People who had been there since 1988, 89, I ended up, because one thing about the aviation industry is that it's immaterial whether you've been there for 15 years. Something new will just come up today. Everybody turns to a learner. You have to quickly start learning and just keep your pace. The aircraft that were being used in the 90s were not the aircraft we are being used today. The system we are using to make reservations in those days is not what they are using nowadays. So in those days, you will call the airline to make reservations for travels. When we joined the industry, we started making directly on our systems. So everybody went back to ground zero. So we're learning together. So because of my education background, most of the people in the industry then, they were actually school cert holders. Only very few of us then in the industry were graduates. So it was very easy for me to catch up. I was open to learning, so I learned very fast. So it kept me going, and with prayers and everything, honestly, I became the cynosure of all eyes where I was working.
Indeed. What is worth doing at all is worth doing well, and it must be done with an undivided loyalty. Those are the words of Mr. Ibrahim Audu-Alqali. Mr. Ibrahim, there's no how there are not going to be ups and downs. What are these? Can you give us an instance of maybe one or two where you had, difficulties along this your chosen career path?
A whole lot. A whole lot.
Just give us, one that's very significant.
I don't work hard, but I work smart.
Interesting.
Yes. I could get to work at 8 o'clock. By 2, 1 after Zuhr, I'm done with my target for the day. I'll end up helping the others. But do you know what it feels like when you meet some people who think they are your teachers, and suddenly you just overtook them? It became a very, very big struggle. Then, like I told you, prayers and prayers and prayers. I'm someone that my father and with the Jamaica people I lived with, they taught me that with prayers, the biggest challenge I had then was being hated. That I just came in suddenly and boom, I was there. Another friend called me when I was telling him that I'm facing some challenges. He said, Ibrahim, go back to the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah. You should be reciting, Kam min fi'atin qalilatin galabatin fi'atan kasira, bi'iznillahi wallahu ma'as sabirin. I was reciting it, and things started going gradually. from 8,000, my salary became 12,000. And they were like, why should the MD just suddenly increase my salary when it was not even time for salary review? And I kept writing the huzur, honestly. As I was facing those challenges, I was writing the huzur, and I was getting a response. And something in me was telling me that, look, yes, they are all Muslims too. Most of them too were Muslims. I was saying, look, you have an imam. Your imam is assuring you that you will get there. So why are you bothered? Suddenly from there, from my 12,000 job, I got a job in the biggest travel agency in Nigeria then. And it's still one of the biggest today. From 12,000 naira salary, I got a 24,000 naira salary. And within 1.5 years, 2 years, my salary became about 54,000. Then where I was in Indonesia, that was where I was as I got married. So most of those challenges, then when I got to the other bigger travel agency, I saw that the people I met there, they were all actually guru. That it was difficult for me to prove that I was something, I was a champion where I was coming from. When I got here, I became a learner. What did I do? I became a team player. So I started working with everybody. And if you look at it then, even if you look at age, I was even older than most of them. So, but I brought myself down. Humility was the key word. I learned so much from there. Then from there, I moved into the airlines. By the time I moved into the airline, to my MD, I almost became like someone that he could not dispense with. He moved me all around. I headed so many travel desks, so many big companies. When I got a job with Kenya Airways, by recommendation of people, I got there in 2004 with a bigger salary, almost triple what I was anywhere I was coming from. My MD was like, no, you can't leave. It's not possible. I showed him my employment letter. I said, MD, you are paying me 50-something thousand. I'm going to earn about 120 something. He said, no, Ibrahim, you can't go. I said, MD, the aim of every business owner is to have a boy, so to say, a staff of yours that goes higher into a higher position. It's like me working for a bank and I get a job in CBN and the bank is saying you can't leave. No, if I'm in that place, when you want anything done there, it's easy for you. You have your boy there. He now said, Ibrahim, you've said it all. You can go. That was why I left. I was in Kenya Airways for 8 years, where I rose to become the sales manager for Kenya Airways. Then Etihad Airways came in 2012. Of all these jobs for the airlines, I never applied. I was recommended. I was actually called upon. And they'll be like, is this Ibrahim? Can you please see me? And let me also add, I never lost touch with the Khalifa. So when Etihad Airways came, we heard Etihad Airways was coming, which was a very big desert carrier. And we all know in the industry that they pay very well. So when they came, people were like, how do you get in? And we'll keep thinking, it's not easy now. Nigeria is man, no man. But honestly speaking, I never applied. The first GM that was sent in just called me in my office and be like, my name is Maurice Foleli. Can you see me in a hotel? I went and we had a chat. Before you know it, I got almost ×3 again. So I think mine was always ×3. I went back to my office. I said I was leaving. But one thing about me is if I'm leaving a job for another job, I will always tell you where I'm going to. I don't hide it. So they know me for that. I know that people, you might be afraid that they could stop it. But for me, I know that when I got the job, I've written the huzur and I'm expecting a response. And I know he will pray for me, so nobody can stop it. So it kept me going.
So, Jazakallah khairan, Mr. Ibrahim Audu-Alqali. Based on, our chat so far, I think I can say, or it's safe to say, that some of the challenges you have faced are from the envious ones, or the mischief makers, so to say. But you're able to surmount it because of your closeness and your relationship with the Khalifa of the time. Indeed, the Khalifa of the time has brought succor to every member. So we are indeed lucky and grateful to Allah for these feats. So we are not done yet, Mr. Alqali. There's still some certain questions, that our viewers will want us to talk about as far as your, industry where you're working is concerned. and that has to do with, leadership. So what are these, perhaps you have worked, you said it now, you've worked as a team player, you've added some, positions, so to say. So what can you say about, the attribute that describes, your leadership qualities now? So just give us 3, particularly.
Like I told you, I'm a team player.
Number 1, team player.
I accommodate mistakes from people that work with me. I accommodate mistakes a lot. I give a long rope. They all know you can make any mistake, I will forgive you. The only mistake that you will make, that I will come down very hard on you, is fraud. I have 0 tolerance for fraud. 0, they all know, absolutely 0 tolerance for it. So I tolerate them. So they were very friendly. They were so free, both the males and the female, they were so free talking to me at any point in time. That is the second one. The third one is I avoid office politics. I work smart. I settle issues amongst my staff, relying on the issues you have brought right now, not what I knew about you yesterday. If you come to me that somebody had done something, like the Holy Prophet Muhammad says that if you have issues with someone, always think of the good things that person had done for you. I always look at the good things. And I'll tell you, if you are telling me something in my office and you are like, last week I said, no, tell me what brought about you coming to my office now for this. We resolved the one for last week, don't bring it in again. So they all know. So I became very friendly to everybody. And yes, I had some bosses. I used to have a boss that I was older than him by about 12 years. And he was my boss. There was a day he called me. He said, Ibrahim, can you please quickly help me go to the bank? Deep down, I was like, is he all right? I said, okay, can I have the check? He gave me the check. I went to the bank. I cashed the money. The money was 250,000 naira. Then I was building my house. Then it was in December. So I took the money to him. He removed 50,000. He said, can you please keep this 200,000 naira for me? You live in K2. I live in Ogudu GRA. When I need the money during the holidays, I will call you. During the holiday, I called him. Oh, I'll be traveling to Ibadan to see my mom. He said, Ibrahim, the money is yours. It's my contribution to your house that you are building.
SubhanAllah.
And I asked myself, what if I had comfort and be like, how can you ask me to go to the bank for you? So there I learned a whole lot of lessons that no matter what it is, humility. I worked with so many people. During the course of my career, I had worked in Onitsha. I went to Kano. Of 36 states in Nigeria, it's only 3 states I had not gone to in the course of my career.
For everything you've said now, it's quite taxing and quite challenging, your job.
Very.
So I would like to ask, how are you able to, mix the Jamaat activities with your job?
For the Jamaat activities, there were no compromises.
There were no compromises.
At all. At all. No compromise. Especially weekends.
Okay.
Our activities are mostly on weekends anyway. I don't compromise them. Until I got to Etihad Airways. Etihad Airways became so challenging that I was even asking myself that I hope you have not made a wrong move. The money is bigger, the money is higher, but it's capturing you now. That when I enter my house, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam, the next thing is to get to my dining table, turn on my laptop again, connect the system, go to the bathroom, shower, pray, come and sit down, sleep at 2 a.m.
And it feels as if the Jamaat activities is just
so
lagging behind.
It was just, and people were coming, Ibrahim, what is happening? I was like, no. This was what made me. I must never relent. So along the line, when I became a Nasir, I was like, all eyes are on you now. You have to really, really brace up. So we're doing it. Then another thing I'm always proud to say is that there is no country I fly into. I have flown a lot to several countries in the course of my job.
Okay.
Anywhere I fly into, I must first and foremost, before I leave Nigeria, I must identify the Jamaat mosque there. I can't remember going except there is no mosque in that city. No matter how far it is, I must be there. To Kenya, Nairobi, Uganda, Tanzania, all those places, UK, US, any city I find myself, I must go to the Jamaat mosque. And honestly, whenever I get there, it's like home away from home. Introduce yourself and boom, you are there. And that also brings me back to something. I want to tell all our youth, all our members who are looking up to us, who are coming, that don't ever, no matter your position, don't ever feel too big to visit the Jamaat mosque anywhere you are.
Don't feel too big to visit the Jamaat mosque wherever you are at any point in time, because we're all one family around the world. I would also like to ask, sir, this is your job that we're talking about. Is there a particular teaching of the Jamaat that keeps you, aloof of every other person?
When I was becoming a manager in Kenya Airways, I went for a training in Nairobi. It was a 10 days training. It was called the Bulletproof Manager.
The Bulletproof Manager.
Bulletproof Manager.
Okay.
It's when you are becoming a manager, it is called once you cross that stage of bulletproof and you pass that course, everybody they will be like, yes, he's done it. So while we were doing the training, people that came to train us, they came from Chicago. We trained in Nairobi, Kenya. And one day, I think the 5th or 6th day, they gave everybody to write their most inspirational quote.
Yes.
People were writing from philosophers and everything. And I wrote a quote. Every morning should be a witness for you that you went through the night with righteousness. And every evening should be a witness for you that you went through the day with the fear of Allah in your heart. That was a quote of Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. You won't write your name, you just fold it, you drop it in the box. So they started reading people's quotes and everything. When they read mine, they kept it aside. So they were forced to ask, who wrote this? I said, I'm the one. So where did you get this quote from? I said, I'm a Muslim. It's from the founder of the Islamic sect I belong to, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Then a friend of mine, Kofi Amano from Ghana, he shouted, he said, the Wahhabadan people. He said, Ibrahim, are you one of the Wahhabadan people? I said, yes, I'm proud. He said, you guys are very powerful in Ghana. So that quote they actually used it. They actually used it in one of the adverts of Kenya Airways, that every morning should be a witness for you, that you went through the day with righteousness. So they used it at some point.
So definitely, sir, we can say that the message of Hazrat Imam Mahdi alayhi salam is being spread, whether we like it or not, through his followers. Yes, we are already, running out of time, but with the little time we have, I would like us to, talk about something very important as well. And that is, you rose to the apex of all job as far as, your career is all about. So after that, what happened next? Because we realized that you are exponential now.
Yes.
Okay.
While I was in Etihad Airways, I've always told myself that by the time I'm 45, I want to be on my own. When I was 45, it was not possible. Then when I was about 47 or there about 48, I was like, no, I have to move on. Like I said, I wrote the Huzur. Then there were issues. Etihad Airways was downsizing. And when it got to Nigeria, it affected my department. I was not personally affected. It affected my department. And when I was called to Abu Dhabi for the meeting, I was like, no, you cannot give the job of 10 people to 3 people. We cannot be productive. It became an argument and everything. There's something told me that as they have been doing other stations, once they're able to fizzle out those ones, they will come back. It will still bounce back to you. And I said, okay, in that case, what if I leave to accommodate 2 others? And 2 others won't leave. It was arguments back and forth. That was where I started the idea of Exponential Global Travels Limited in 2017. When I started Exponential Travels, it was not very easy. Yes, I prepared for it. You know, like I said, I read public administration. So many things we learn. If you want to switch job, what are the things you should prepare for? In the books, we were told that prepare salaries for at least 2 years, that even if you don't break even, you can still maintain your office, which I did.
Thank you very much, for this beautiful submission. And it has been, fantastic talking to Mr. Alqali Ibrahim. So I would like to ask, what is this your favorite inspirational quote? In just 30 seconds, please.
Love for all.
Hatred for none.
Hatred for none. In my office, everywhere, my key holder, my social media handles is love for all, hatred for none, which now inspired me. I don't hate people. I may not like your action, but I won't hate your personality.
On the last note, Mr. Alqali Ibrahim, what advice do you have for this upcoming youth?
The love for wealth should be discarded.
The love for wealth should be discarded.
They should concentrate more on prayers. You can never have it all. Always have that in mind. For the youths, be prayerful. Whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, be extremely prayerful. And for those of us who are fortunate to be Ahmadi Muslims, the Khalifa keeps giving us prayers upon prayers upon prayers upon prayers. Let's stick to them. Let's read the Holy Quran. And I insist and I maintain, anywhere you find yourself in the world, your first point of contact after landing and lodging is to get the mosque of the Jamaat. When the chiefs, they will be your next family. So we have to train our children that anywhere they are, they should prioritize. They should fraternize with the Jamaat. Their best friends should come from amongst the Jamaat.
Jazakallah khairan, Mr. Alqali Ibrahim. Dear viewers, we've had a lot of lessons to learn from what Mr. Alqali Ibrahim, have said so far. The key point is that Mr. Alqali Ibrahim has never left the Jamaat for any worldly activities so far. And also, he ensured he befriended the Uzur or the Khalifa of the time any moment at every point in his life. You can see that his life has come to be a fruitful one. His life has been the one for inspiration to many people around him. On this note, we are going to draw the curtain of Inspirational Africa. And for questions, inquiries, or comments, email us at africa@mta.tv. africa@mta.tv. Till we meet again next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
La for, hatred for none, all the time. La for, hatred for none, all the time. La for, hatred for none, for Islam stand for peace.